Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet B. Rain. My guest today is Heather Schultz. She is an intuitive tarot reader whose soul lights up from assisting others on their journey through life's ups and downs. Her special sauce is in twin flames and spirit baby guidance, but she has the ability to tap into energy of just about any situation or circumstance. With the combination of intuition, tarot, and a sprinkling of astrology, she hopes to help others live their best lives. She also creates her own unique, original oracle decks through a combination of channeled messages and creativity in the design process to bring the vision to life and messages she delivers. It's not unusual for her to bring out one of these original oracle decks in her reading, and the fun thing is, too, she makes her oracle decks available for anyone that'd like to take them home or use them for themselves. Heather's ultimately tries to help people focus on what's right with the world as opposed to what's wrong with the world, while sparkling and shining their own unique light every step of the way. I love that. What a great introduction that was. That's pretty cool. So, Heather, talk to me about, have you always been intuitive? Have always been guided? Or were you led down this road to do this? So give us a little bit of your background of how you got to what you do today.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I've definitely always been highly intuitive, but I feel like for most people like myself, it wasn't necessarily something that I automatically dove into in terms of like, I'm gonna go out there and help people, and this is going to be like my path in life. Of course, there were many other paths I walked down before I actually used my gifts in the way that I am now. Um, but definitely, especially around the time my dad died. My dad died when I was 13 from cancer. And it was really around that time that a lot of those gifts were woken up around that event. And, I was too young at that point in time to really understand what was kind of happening, but those gifts always stuck with me. And I've always been a very highly creative person. So before I was doing readings and creating oracle decks and that kind of stuff, I spent like 20 years in the music industry as a singer and a performer, songwriter, that kind of thing. A lot of that I feel is definitely poured into my oracle decks just because creativity, it flows, it just keeps going. So yeah, that's kind of the world that I came out of before heading into the metaphysical world.
I love that. I love that. What are some of the decks that you've created? Are they very similar to tarot or are they a little bit different? I'm curious.
They are oracle decks. So I do have a couple here next to me I could probably show you. There's so many different varieties, honestly. Let's see. Just kind of moving things around. Water bottle. Uh,
I love it.
I know. So I know we mentioned spirit babies there in my introduction, and one of my decks is a spirit baby deck. So this is Spirit Baby Sparkle. They all come in tins, so that way then like they're really good for just like safe storage and that kind of thing. They'll be very well protected. And this one is actually one of my biggest decks. It's 100 cards, but these are kind of like what the cards look like.
Beautiful.
And yeah, oh, a little blurry there. But
So
yeah,
what do
so
you
these
mean
are
by spirit baby? So people that may not be able to watch the video, I was very curious. What is a spirit baby? Are you talking about
right.
actual babies that mama has or
So spirit babies are basically what I like to call babies coming in and babies going out. In a sense, they're babies on the other side. They're babies that are not physically here with us right now. So this could be two different kind of scenarios. It could be maybe someone who has lost a child via miscarriage or abortion or something like that, and they would like to connect with that child. They would like to find closure and peace if they've been struggling in that journey. Or on the opposite side, it could be for women who have been desiring to become a mother, and for whatever reason, whether they haven't found the right partner yet, or maybe they've had fertility struggles, it's for them to connect with that child who is yet to come into the world.
Oh, very cool. I get it
Yeah.
now. At first I was like, is it pets that are in spirit? What? Right?
That
Because
is that is an idea for one of my decks coming up, is like a messages from your pet deck, but they're all very much themed. There's a love deck. There is one of my most favorite ones, just because of like the way that the world is right now. There's so much bad news out there. So I created Tell Me Something Good, which is kind of like affirmations, I guess you could say. It's more affirmations than anything else, but it's a really good deck just if you want to like a feel good message for the day. If you just need like a little boost in your confidence, that's what this deck is for. Um, Another one that's very popular is In My Feels. This one is all about emotions. So it's like the full rainbow array of emotions is what it comes down to. So I like to say that this deck is very versatile because you can use it on like any kind of question, whether it's love, your career, health, your family, friendships, anything in life kind of goes there. And then if you want like a holiday themed deck, I've got you covered with Christmas. I've got you covered with fall. So I've got like decks for the seasons. So there's a little bit of everything. There's a career deck, like any topic in life, you name it, I got it.
so do you interchange them when you do readings when somebody tells you what their question is, or do you just have them pick a deck? Do you mix them up? Tell us your style of how you do readings.
Yeah, really it depends on the person, the client. I always tell people they're the ones who are in the driver's seat. So it's like whatever it is that they want to know about. So, if someone has a career question, I'm going to go to that career deck. If somebody has a love question, I'm going to that love deck. So I only pull those decks out if that's like specifically where they want to go.
Mhm.
If it's more general and maybe they don't know necessarily, they just want to kind of keep it open to receive. Usually in my feels is pretty good for that because like I said, it kind of covers everything. It's very versatile, and we'll go from there if it goes into a more specific, detailed area of life.
I love that. I love that. One of your expertise areas is twin flames. So
Yes.
define for me what your definition of a twin flame is and what your perspective is.
My perspective. Oh, this is definitely one of those hot button topics.
It is because everybody believes a little something different, and that's why I like to ask because I don't
Yeah,
think I think there's a little bit of truth in everything, and you have to be
of
open.
course.
But everybody has a different perspective and a belief around twin flames. So share with
Absolutely.
us yours.
Sure. Well, my perspective is basically the twin flame journey. It's ultimately about you. It's about you as a person. It's about your soul and your spirit. It's not about that other person. That not to say that the other person doesn't matter or anything. Like, yes, there is love there. There is a connection there. They're obviously brought into your life for a purpose, but that purpose is ultimately soul growth. I feel like a lot of people get very caught up in the romanticized version of twin flames. And of course, everybody wants that and everyone is deserving of that. But that's like I look at that as the frosting on the cake. But the cake is actually you. And even without frosting, cake is still cake. It's still good. So that's the way I kind of see it. It's kind of like if you were to compare a soulmate to a twin flame, I look at a soulmate relationship as more like you're going on the teacup ride at Disneyland. It's fun, it's sweet, it's easy, it's relaxed, that kind of thing. But a twin flame relationship, you're going to Six Flags, you're on the loop-de-loop coasters, you don't know what's up, you don't know what's down. It's chaos.
I love that description. Now, this is my perspective of twin flame. I believe a twin flame is absolutely the opposite of you. It's where your soul divided into two perspectives, and it is you making love to you on an opposite behaviors, opposite attitudes, opposite all of that, which brings in the challenges of the loop to loop twin flames, because I don't necessarily believe we're supposed to be with a twin flame. I
Hmm.
believe that is an experience that we're having with another personality, another behavior, another attitude of us that's having that experience. A lot of people believe that their twin flame is who they should be searching for. I believe you're meant to have many, many, many different relationships throughout all your lifetimes. And each of those are growth opportunities and ways for us to learn and expand what love is, what love isn't, and it has all of the spectrum. So I don't think there's just one person in this world that would be your ultimate love. Here's the other thing that may be a break for you is I don't think any relationship's meant to be perfect. I don't think this world we're supposed to have perfection. I think people come into our lives to teach us things, how we move through challenges and obstacles and joy and bliss and all of that all together. That's this journey that we're on to grow and expand and learn. And if you're always evaluating people on twin flames, I think you're going to get disappointed, because usually the twin flames bring more conflict because they're opposite of who you are, what you're looking for, what that is. But a soul partnership, I think we have hundreds of soul partnerships, and they're all
Oh yeah,
different, right? Different
absolutely.
levels, different experiences, different pieces. Doesn't mean that your twin flame isn't important. What they're experiencing and what you're experiencing, those are both dynamics of your soul that have separated, that are having these separate experiences. If you go into old metaphysical teachings, there are 11 other aspects of your soul having an experience either on this plane or other planes, because your soul splits into 12 experiences as it incarnates, and this is just one. Now wrap your brain around, those can also influence you, because you can sometimes feel the pain of what's happening on some other soul aspect that you are having. When I used to do readings, I had someone come to me and he said, my wife, every time she gets pregnant, gets in this really big anxiety piece, and we can't figure out what it is. I said, because another one of her soul aspects always loses the baby. And
Oh,
so when she goes to get pregnant, she feels that anxiety. And he goes, you're not the only one that's told us that.
yeah,
Maybe that's the truth,
definitely.
right?
That
And
makes sense. I mean, there's definitely so many different parallel universes is what it comes down to that is at play.
yeah, and some piece of your soul may be having a physical experience right here on Earth at a different age or a different time frame. In some aspects or other places, and all those can be influential sometimes within our lives. You may get flashes of what's happening with those other aspects of soul that feel really real, and that realness is that you experiencing that maybe in a different time frame, different plane, different reality, different dimension. And so it can get really wide in perspective. So I love your definition of twin flames,
Yeah,
Heather. So I think
thank
that's cool.
you.
So
Yeah,
many people think it's their search of pure love.
oh, yeah, for sure. I've been there. I mean, I get it, you know. Like I feel those people 100%. I mean, like me personally, I've known my twin flame since I was 14 years old. He's bounced in and out of my life this entire time. And we're not together. I'm okay with that. I'm at peace with that. I've obviously gone through quite a journey to be able to get there. And I know a lot of times people do not want to hear like chances are you're not gonna wind up with your twin flame. But when I tell people who are still kind of in that struggle and they're not there yet, they're not ready yet, I basically tell them, okay, in your healing process, this is what you're going to want to affirm. Spirit, my twin flame, or someone better. Because by putting that out there in the universe, like, yeah, you're not completely outruling the twin flame thing. You're still letting there be space for that, but you're also allowing space for that amazing, beautiful soul partner to come into your life who is going to give you this brand new, amazing experience that you could be missing out on otherwise.
That's true. That's true. The people that come in our lives are there to help us have those experiences that really help us expand who we are and where we're coming in. I also love in your opening, you talked about focusing on the positive instead of the negative. Expand on that a little bit because I think that is so important for people to hear.
Yes, yes, especially in the world we're living in right now. But, then again, the world's kind of always been chaotic. I feel like we're more in tune to it now because everything is like on the internet. It's in your face, your phone will be blowing up with notifications about like this is going wrong and that's going wrong. And that's the thing. Like we are bombarded whether we're looking for it or not to tell us all the things that are going wrong in the world. And that's why it's so important to focus on what's going right. It's like, okay, small example. Let's say you wake up and you were going to go like outside for the day. You were going to have a picnic, maybe take a little hike, something like that. And you wake up and it's raining outside. It's just like pouring cats and dogs. There's no way you're going to go take a picnic outside or anything like that, right? So you could easily get disappointed and you could, sulk and be just like, oh, now I'm mad. My whole day's ruined. I want to go outside. I want to have this beautiful picnic. Or you could flip the script. Instead of being disappointed, you could get reappointed and be just like, okay, I can't do that today. I can do that another day. But instead, I can like stay inside and snuggle up under some blankets and eat some comfort food and watch like my favorite Netflix series or a movie, cuddle up with my dog, cat, whatever animal you got around you. And you completely change it. You focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong in that scenario. And that's just a small one because, it's like, it's just the weather. But there's so many other ways that we can, flip that. It's kind of like that whole thing of like, what's that phrase? Like it's like God's uh rejection is like God's protection or something like that. So it's like you could be running late to an important meeting, an important event, or something like that, and you get stuck in traffic. Well, maybe if you had left sooner, maybe you would have wound up in a car accident or something. So there's all kinds of moving parts going on in the world that we don't know about. So it's like it's really important to focus on the good because if we just get succumbed with everything that is weighing us down, we're not going to rise to the occasion. We're not going to live our best lives, and we're not here to suffer. We are here to enjoy being on Earth. Like, I mean, it's beautiful. You got mountains and beaches and valleys and rivers, and like, who wouldn't want to enjoy this beautiful planet?
I love that. I love that because it's so true, right? And sometimes we're sitting in such a dark place that we can't see the positives. And that's
Yeah.
when you do the little gratitudes and you start to build up of, I'm very grateful for being alive today. I'm very grateful for waking up today. Those simple things. And then all of a sudden you're getting up and you're kind of seeing more of the positive instead of all the negative. I think that's so, so important.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've been there myself, we've all had those days where it's just like, no, I'm just gonna stay in bed all day. I'm not gonna move because I feel depressed. I feel down. Like I said, I'm guilty. I've done this. Any of the things that I mentioned not to do, I say it because I've done it.
I think we all have. That's why we need to hear it every once in a while and come up with it.
hmm
You talk about using astrology in your readings. What benefit comes from connecting to astrology and really using astrology when we're looking at things?
Yeah. So astrology to me, it's a very different practice in a sense than reading cards like tarot or oracle cards, or just kind of tapping more so into those psychic gifts, because astrology, it's an ology, it's a study, right? It's a field of study. So it's more scientific in a sense, because you actually have to look at a chart, and you have to like kind of look at the math and everything, see what's transiting where, and understand what the different glyphs mean, which is kind of like a whole other language in itself. It's much more specific. Um, so occasionally I may dive into some astrology and be just like, well, let's bring up your birth chart. Let's kind of see maybe what's going on here. Maybe it'll help. Ultimately, I feel like astrology ultimately helps you understand yourself better, is what it comes down to. Or if you're trying to understand someone else, if you have their birth information, plug that in and be just like, all right, maybe there's someone in your life you don't necessarily communicate the best with. Maybe you guys butt heads a lot, have a lot of arguments. It might be a good idea to look at where your Mercuries are. It might be a good idea to see if there's any squares happening between those Mercuries in terms of synastry. So, yeah, it's helpful just to understand yourself, understand other people a little bit better. And then if you're looking at the transits in the future, if you're doing more predictive astrology, it may help prepare you how to surf incoming energies that are going to be occurring.
I love that. I love that. Astrology has not ever been my field of expertise, but I love those that do it and really understand it and can bring information that is important for today, practical, useful information. Because I think sometimes, because it's a study, we can get so deep in it that we get lost. I love the practical aspects when we can really use that to help guide our decision making, to understand the challenges that we have, to really step into the blessings or the gifts that we've been given, because each of us have all of that in our astrology chart. So I just love that. So,
Yes.
Heather, talk to us a little bit about some of the things you offer. I'll have your website along the bottom of the video. I will also have your website in the description, ways for people to contact you, but share with us what you offer, where people can tap in and find you.
Right. Well, I primarily exist in the internet, basically. Everything that I do is primarily online. So basically, if you go to shadowandshine.com, there's a lot of different offerings there. If you go into the shop section of my website, you can find the oracle decks that I have available for purchase, and there are readings available for purchase there too. So I have several different kinds. In the shop section, I have image readings, which are basically like I'll email you an image of the cards that were drawn for you, and there's like an explanation as to, what's going on in the energy there. Then there's the YouTube unlisted readings, where I will basically, take your questions. I will film everything on YouTube and send you the link. It's unlisted, so you're the only person who's going to have the link. It's just between the two of us, basically. And the beautiful thing about that is you can watch that video back as many times as you need to. Like, let's say you take it in and then a week goes by and you're like, what did she say again? I forgot. Go back and watch the video. So I have those there. And then in the book online portion of my website, you can sit down with me live in person and we can do a session. So I offer hour-long readings, half an hour readings, and also coaching sessions as well. Because sometimes it's not even about like, I need you to look at my chart or I need you to pull cards. I just need someone to talk to and to kind of guide me through this. So I do coaching as well. And as far as in person, I do have some in-person events that are coming up. August 15th through the 17th, I'm going to be at the Bliss, Colorado Chant and Sacred Sound Festival. So I'm going to be there. And over Labor Day weekend, I'm going to be at the 54th annual September Fest in the Chicagoland area. And then in September 19th through the 21st, I will be at Body, Mind, Spirit in Denver. So I do have several events coming up, and you can go to the events section if you want to say hi and see me face to face in person.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for taking the time today to really sit and chat with us. This has been very lovely. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This has been delightful.
It's been a lot of fun. And those that have been listening or watching, please like us, follow us, comment on your favorite channels. We hope that you'll return back. We always have a weekly guest, so you can come in and tap in and listen. And I always love to wish everybody a sacred and magical week, and we hope to see you really soon in the near future.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Violet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Violet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you love the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.